Hello, John Osmond here again. This one's going to be a real quick video because I'm just going to show you how to do an external test to these models that I just made. And I probably should have tacked it on to the end of the last video because I'm just going to do that and then I have some different videos planned. So one of the things I want to show you before I go to an external file is one of the things that the model maker does is it creates this getObjectFunctions data module here. And basically, for every module it creates a get function where it has get underscore prepended to the name of the model, and that includes the schema. So there's another underscore that goes with the schema, and then there's an optional parameter you can pass to this function, and I'll tell you about that in a little bit. Now, the reason that you have to do it this way because when you're calling a class module from an external file, you can't use the new keyword in that file. You have to pass the object through a function. So that's what this is. This is a public function that returns a customer's object. Or this one here is a public function that returns a customer's addresses object or a customer's address type list, and so on and so forth. So for each of these class modules, you can get an object based on that class module. And the new keyword is kept here in this file. That's the thing. These new keywords here, they don't work from external files. So that's why you have to create these getObjectFunctions. When I did the local test, however, I didn't need to worry about that. I could use the new keyword because I was in the same file as the models themselves. So I'm going to go ahead and close this file up. And instead what we're going to do is we're going to open up this one here, tests_models_ADO. Remember, I'm in the ADO folder, so I have to distinguish whether I'm doing ADO models and testing ADO, or if I went to the DAO folder, it would be the very similar layout with DAO. So let me go ahead and into the tests area. Now in here right now, there's only one thing, test models, and of course it's empty. So the first thing I need to do is I need to make a reference to this file right here, this set of models that's contained in that one file that I just made. So the file that I'm in now could just as well be a data forms file, a reports file, business logic, any of these that might need access to data. They first have to connect to the models. So that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going to Tools menu, References, and I click on Browse. I have to be a little careful here because, see, this is still pointing to my old template. I don't want that. What I want is I want to go into the demo project, go to Data Access in the ADO folder, change this to look at Access Databases, and here's my ADO models that I just created right there. So it makes a reference to it, so now I have access to all that code. And I can access that code from multiple files. Let me just make sure it compiles, and it does. Now, as I told you a minute ago, I can't just, well, let me just get it started here. If I say private test, private sub, test customers, very similar to what I did before. And there's no, there won't be any sort of conflict because that's in a different scope. And if I say something like this now, if I go dim OCSTS as new CUST customers, this is probably going to give me a compile error. It's the invalid use of the new keyword. So what you got to do is you got to remove that keyword. And then what I always do is you can do this on a separate line, but I always find it convenient to put it right on the same line. So you say set your variable equal to get underscore, and it's the same basic thing. Now it's a function, so you should do the open and close parentheses. And now that won't cause a compile error. And I should be able to do the same exact things. In fact, I'll just go over here and copy this code because it's going to be the same test. So if I bring up my immediate window and run this, there you go. That's exactly what we expected. Now, if I was really going to make these as tests that are savable, I wouldn't really use debug print. I would use debug.assert. And I would assert that dot record count equals 0. And then up here I would assert that ID equals 1, and I would assert that customer name equals this right here, ProDB developers. So basically what would happen is if I run this test and it finishes without any problem, then the test passes. That's kind of how tests work. See, so it went all the way through without any problem. If this were a little off, like let's say I put an X here and ran it again, it would stop on that location because this is no longer a true statement. It'll only continue if it's a true statement. Yeah. Okay, so that's how you do an external test, and you have to use these getObject functions to get your objects from your class modules, because we're in a separate file. Okay, so that'll be the end of this video. Pretty short. Oh, actually, it's a little over 7 minutes, so it's about the same as the other ones. I guess I carried on. Okay, so the last thing we're going to be doing, and it's getting a little late, so I'll probably let this go till tomorrow. We're going to make a data form, and I'm going to go ahead and take the time off the video to populate some of those tables so we have some data to look at in the data form. Okay, and then I guess we'll make a report after that, and then we'll wrap it up. Oh, we need to talk about security. There's another thing to talk about security, so that'll be in a video for tomorrow. Okay, thanks for watching. See you then.